Years ago, a poor street girl gave her last meal to 3 starving boys. She thought she'd never see them again. But fate had other plans. Now billionaires, those same boys return, with a red envelope and a decision that will shock the world. This is the true power of kindness. In the heart of bustling Lagos, 3 childhood friends, Tund, Kofi and Jabari, had grown up under the wings of poverty. Years ago, when they were small, lost, and hungry on the unforgiving streets, a ragged little girl named Zuri had shared her only meal with them. She asked for nothing in return. Time flew. With luck, grit, and help from a kind stranger later in life, the boys grew into billionaires, owners of tech empires, oil fields, and global trade networks. Now young men of immense wealth, they hadn't forgotten the kindness of a girl with dirt-smudged cheeks and eyes full of light. One afternoon, while passing through a familiar part of the city on their way to a gala, they saw her again, seated by a wall, still collecting bottles, still dressed in rags. Her face, though older and wearier, was unmistakable. The limousine stopped. "Is it really her?" Tund whispered. Without a word they stepped out. This was no coincidence. The traffic around them buzzed with impatient honks, but the 3 billionaires stood frozen, their minds reeling back to childhood. Zuri, the same girl who once fed them a half loaf of bread and whispered, "Stay strong, brothers," was now rummaging through broken glass for anything she could sell. Jabari stepped forward, pulling out a red envelope from his suit pocket. Inside was a key to a luxury apartment nearby, and a note that simply read, "For the one who taught us compassion." Zuri looked up, her eyes wide. First she didn't recognize them, but when she saw Kofi's crooked smile, the same one he had as a child, she gasped. You're the boys from the alley." Tears welled in her eyes as Jabari gently placed the envelope in her hand. "We never forgot you," said Tund softly. "You gave us everything when you had nothing." The crowd began to gather, curious. Photographers flashed, but none of that mattered. The boys had made their decision. This wasn't charity, this was destiny. That night, Zuri stood in disbelief at the door of a luxury apartment on Victoria Island. Marble floors gleamed beneath her feet, and the scent of fresh flowers filled the air. Everything, from the gold-handled doors to the stocked refrigerator, felt unreal. Tund showed her around. "This is your home now. No rent, no expectations, just a thank you." Zuri turned, her voice shaking. "Why me? You're billionaires. You could have helped anyone." Kofi smiled. "But no one else gave us hope when we had nothing." Jabari added, "That kindness changed everything. It kept us alive long enough to find opportunity. You were our first miracle." Zuri sank onto the couch, her eyes scanning the room, then landing on a framed photo on the table. It was her years ago, surrounded by 3 hungry boys. An old street photographer had captured it. Below it a plaque read, "Never forget where you came from." Her hands trembled. "Tomorrow," said Tund, "we want to show you something. It's time the world sees who you really are." The next morning, a black SUV pulled up outside a towering building with gold-trimmed windows. Zuri stepped out, dressed in elegant African attire provided by her hosts. She felt nervous but powerful, her scars now symbols of strength. Inside, a press conference was underway. Journalists, influencers, and celebrities filled the room. At the center stood Tund, Kofi, and Jabari. Tund took the microphone. "Today we introduce not a partner, not an employee, but the soul of our journey." He turned to Zuri, who slowly walked onto the stage. "This woman," said Kofi, "fed us when we were starving. She believed in us before the world ever knew our names." Jabari stepped forward. "From this day, Zuri becomes co-founder of ZKJ Foundation, an initiative to fight poverty, support street children, and restore dignity across Africa." Cameras flashed. Some in the crowd wiped their eyes. Zuri spoke, her voice steady. "I had nothing, but I gave what I could. And today, that kindness has come back to me multiplied." Thunderous applause echoed through the hall. The world had just witnessed a miracle born not from money, but from mercy. Months passed, and the ZKJ Foundation spread like wildfire. Shelters were built, children were fed, and forgotten communities began to hope again. Zuri, once just another face on the streets, now stood as a symbol of how one act of kindness could change the world. She didn't let luxury consume her. Every morning, she visited the same alley where she had once met the boys, now transformed into a children's library and soup kitchen. One afternoon, a small barefoot boy tugged at her dress. "Are you the lady who gives food?" She knelt beside him and smiled. "No, little one. I'm the lady who remembers what hunger feels like." Tund, Kofi, and Jabari watched from across the street, smiling quietly. They had built empires, but Zuri had built a legacy. Their shocking decision had not just repaid a debt, it had rewritten what it means to be powerful, not through wealth but through gratitude. And so, the girl who once had nothing became the woman who gave everything.